Let's all take a nice deep breath together. Nice deep breath. Exhale. Bring your hand to your heart. Let's just take a moment to be grounded in this time and space right here together. We give thanks for this opportunity to be joined together this evening, brothers and sisters, on this path, on this very sacred path. We rise every morning knowing that we have the opportunity to be of service, to be kind, to be compassionate. And we ask to be led in the direction of blessings. Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? Who should I speak to? What should I say? How can I rise higher every day? How can I connect with my brothers and sisters? How can I expand the territory of my ministry? We ask, and then we listen, and we allow ourselves to be led. Let's put our hands on our hearts, feel our heartbeats. My heart beats, knowing that your heart beats, and together we are connected through time and space, through love. We ask to be instruments of peace in this world. We ask to be aware of our own selves when we need to make corrections so that we can do better and be better. So we can rise higher, pray harder, love steadily, forgive readily. We say yes to this. We say yes to all of this. Let's take another nice deep breath together, and then come solidly, joyfully into this moment together. We had some technical glitches earlier, which is why we ran a little late. And I have a new device that I'm not quite sure that I'm managing it properly. So we're just gonna wait and see what happens later when we get to our next song. In the meantime, we'll see this orange thing. I kind of think it's a commercial for insurance or something. But anyway, hello everyone, greetings, happy Holy Thursday. How good it is to be together. How wonderful it is to be with you tonight, knowing that we are moving so close to the end of the year, and we have been consistently connected through A Course in Miracles, through our sacred commitments, through our dedication to this path. And today, I wasn't here last week. I hope you enjoyed the throwback. I did a throwback video from November 4th, 2021. And then on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, Guy, Lisa, and I spoke about it. So if you have not yet seen the Conversations videos, that's Miracles with Twist Conversations. They take place every Tuesday afternoon. They're pre-recorded and then posted. And what we do is we dig deep and unpack the discussion that takes place on Thursday. So it's an opportunity for you to dig a little bit deeper yourself. So please check that out. Today, I want to get back to the teacher's manual. We haven't looked at it in a while, so we're going to look at it today. Question number 14. Ooh, how will the world end? Now, interesting to note that they don't actually answer. It's not actually answered. A variety of how questions are turned into when, more of a when than a how. And I notice this happens periodically throughout the course, that it has sort of like a Zen Buddhist-ish approach to questions because they're not directly answered. So let's see what we're going to do about that. Let's see how we're going to unpack it. How will the world end? It says, can what has no beginning really end? There's the cone, right? Zen cone. The world will end in an illusion as it began. Yet, the ending will be an illusion. There will be mercy. It will be an illusion of forgiveness, complete, excluding no one, limitless in gentleness. Until forgiveness is complete, the world does have a purpose. It becomes the home in which forgiveness is born and where it grows and becomes stronger and more all-embracing. The world will end when its thought system has been completely reversed, because we have created a world of ego-based perceptions, and following our perceptions comes our behavior. Ego-based behaviors from the beginning of time as we know it. It says, until then, bits and pieces of the world's thinking will sometimes seem sensible. The final lesson, which brings the ending of the world, cannot be grasped by those who are not yet prepared to leave the world and go beyond its tiny reach. Its tiny reach. What then is the function of the teacher of God in this lesson? We need merely to learn how to approach it, to be willing to go in its direction. We need merely to trust. We need merely to trust that if God's voice is telling us that it's a lesson that we can learn, then we can learn it. We don't have to judge it either as hard or easy, good or bad. When God points to it, we trust it. We trust that we will learn and that we will know. So let's look at that for a second. God, Lisa and I spoke about spiritual practice on Tuesday, and we were talking about how spiritual practice is at a point in our lives. We are all in a point in our lives where that is our priority. That is our priority. And we spend a lot of time seeking answers, seeking spiritual connection in community, and seeking perhaps in churches or on meditation mats, different places where we've gone to seek and to find where it is we need to put our energy. And so now it's time to be settled in our seeking. If we've gotten to that point now where we feel like, you know what, I'm ready to just truly embrace Christ consciousness. From A Course in Miracles perspective, we call it Christ consciousness. You can call it something else. But am I ready to truly live from that place of not just continuously reading or talking or even seeking, but truly getting to a place and a time in life where I'm living from Christ consciousness? And the way we test ourselves is how we function in the world, how we function in life, because we can be very fulfilled by a spiritual experience, but as Houston Smith says, it's not about altered states, it's about altered traits. So we test ourselves. We test ourselves when we're not in that spiritual community environment, and we're in a situation where we have to rise to an occasion of having seen our own shift, the shift in our behavior, the change in ourselves. Can I speak to someone about something of concern with kindness? Can I speak with kindness without reprimanding or shaming another person? Can I hear what another person has to say without becoming defensive and angry? That's where the real test is. The real test of how far we've come and how willing we are to embrace Christ consciousness is in the daily struggles, in daily life, in conflict, and in frustrations. Am I willing to forgive? Am I willing to let go of regrets? Am I willing to notice my own judgments of others? Am I willing to look and see whether or not I feel superior to someone or inferior to someone? Can I sit within my own sense of connection to the divine and look with new eyes? Because I feel as though we're coming into a new age. Something is shifting. Something is changing, because I listen to more and more teachers, and everyone is talking about coming into this embodiment of what we've sought, of what we have been seeking, the embodiment of Christ consciousness, the embodiment of a true spiritual way of being. And we will only know if we are willing to truly and honestly, rigorously look at ourselves. and look at how we interact in the world when we are not in that ecstatic state of spiritual connection, but when we are in the difficult state of human connection. There's a big difference. It's a big difference. And that's when we have to look at ourselves humbly, honestly. And so when the world ends, according to A Course in Miracles, is when we will have accomplished that. When we will truly have accomplished that as a sonship, as brothers and sisters on this path, as a united consciousness, as a united, truly connected consciousness, in a place of forgiveness, in a place of truly releasing all our judgments, all our resentments and anger, our reactivity. And so we have to be committed to healing ourselves on many levels: spiritual, emotional, social, mental, physical. We have to take care of all of it. We have to take care of all of it. And now we have these quantum physicists who are agreeing with the importance of including the mind, body, spirit, including the spirit, including the spiritual path to the mind-body connection. I saw an interview today, and I thought it was really interesting because it was very unexpected. It just came up during a conversation with a friend of mine. There's a woman by the name of Dr. Kelly Turner. She is a scientist, a researcher. She wrote a book called Radical Remission. Radical Remission. She was doing an interview with a woman by the name of Chris Carr, C-A-R-R, and Chris Carr calls herself a cancer thriver, not a survivor, because she currently and for many years has had a cancer diagnosis. So they were having a conversation about what makes some cancer patients long-term survivors. Sometimes free of cancer, and sometimes living healthy with cancer. So the woman who wrote this book, Radical Remission, she was speaking about all these interviews that she's done with long-term survivors, people who have consistently and over time made very specific changes to their lifestyle that allow them to be healthy, to live a healthy life. And she spoke about dietary changes. She talked about different exercises and different ways that people approach healing themselves. And then she said everyone had some spiritual practice that included deep, quiet stillness. And she said it wasn't about what they believed. It wasn't about religion. It wasn't about having a dogma so much as it was about having a practice, a dedicated practice. And that the minds of deep stillness meditators were minds that allowed the body to heal. Because as the mind calms down, as the nervous system regulates and calms down, the body then heals. And so she was saying that for probably the first time in history, medical doctors are accepting and looking at the importance of spiritual practice to healing. Because there is a physiological response to deep stillness. And so, not that there's anything wrong with going out and enjoying the spiritual connection of anything that you do with others, just as long as we realize that that is a busyness. We're looking for the stillness. Enjoy that, and have that spiritual ecstasy, but keep it with you, available in a file for those times when you're getting upset or you find yourself moving into that old way of being, and open that file and say, you know what, my dedication is to Christ consciousness. My dedication is to doing things in a way that remind me and remind you, remind anyone I'm interacting with of the importance of us maintaining this spiritual connection. And so we have to practice in order for it to become second nature. It's no different than if you were practicing on a piano or on the guitar, a musical instrument. There comes a time, I started playing the guitar when I was 14. And I'm not much better now than I was when I was 14. I only know a couple of chords, and I only play for, my own joy. And but when I pick up a guitar, there's some automatic knowing that I have. They call it muscle memory. I can just pick up a guitar, and I don't have to relearn a C and a D and a G and an E, A minor, right? I don't have to relearn that because it's automatic. And that's where we want to get to with our spiritual response to life. We want it to be so automatic that it overrides the part of us that has reactivity. That may take some time, but like she said these people didn't have spontaneous remission. They didn't just suddenly become healed. They took the time and the energy and the dedication and the years even that it took to get there. So it's a body, mind, and spirit, always body, mind, and spirit, coming back to that realization that we are a continuous work in progress. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes us better. Practice makes us aware. Practice heightens our awareness of what it is we need to do better and be better when we get to those crossroads. So let me tell you their names again. The woman who wrote the book Radical Remission, her name is Dr. Kelly Turner. And the woman who interviewed her, she has a weekly program on health and wellness. Her name is Chris Carr, and she spells Chris with a K, and Carr, C-A-R-R. Spiritual self-care will change your brain. There's another word that came to me. Now, you might know this word. A lot of people might know this word, but for me, it was a new word. I came across this word, and it came in a book that has nothing, well, not much really to do with spirituality. It's more of a psychological book on healing complex trauma. And there's a section on spiritual practice. And he came up with this word, or he uses this word, numinous. Who knows that word, numinous? I didn't know the word. But it says, a numinous experience is a powerful, moving feeling of well-being accompanied by a sense that there is a positive, benign force behind the universe, as well as within you. This, in turn, brings enough grace with it that you have a profound feeling that you are essentially worthwhile, that you belong in this life, and this life is a gift. So, of course, I had to go looking for numinous because I had never heard it before. And it turns out one of my favorite teachers in psychology when I was a psych student was Carl Jung. And he spoke about numinous experiences. And it's here. I was trying not to drop that, but it fell. Okay. He says, numinous experience is an inexpressible, mysterious, sometimes terrifying, direct experience pertaining to the divine. It's like being filled with a sense of the presence of divinity. And that's the holy instant that A Course in Miracles speaks of, the holy instant. And so what we're doing, our practice, is to expand those experiences so that they're not so unique. So it's not just every now and then when I go out to a spiritual gathering, but that I can step into it on my own, especially when it's needed. That I can pull it up and activate it and be in that presence of Christ consciousness. That's really what our spiritual practice is all about. So what we want to do is focus on the shifting that's taking place within us. So it talks about a gratitude feeling so deep and profound when this numinous experience occurs. It feels like a moment of connection to life itself on the deepest level, and all life circumstances that I may deem as problems pale to insignificance in those moments, and there is only love in its purest form. It truly feels like a blessing, albeit a fleeting one, but it gives enough sustenance and hope to continue the journey. We're seeing these signs everywhere. We're seeing this information everywhere about how important it is for us to go into a dedicated spiritual understanding through our practice of who we are and who the other is. Because as long as we're seeing the other as the bad guy or as somebody that needs to be told about who they are and reprimanded or shamed in any way, then we're not coming from that place of Christ consciousness. Let's take a deep breath on that. Let's take this moment to dedicate ourselves right now, in this moment, to do better and be better, to work harder toward that goal. And how do we know? We know when times get tough. That's how we know. We know. We'll see. We'll see it in ourselves. So, this is the final paragraph. The world will end in joy because it is a place now of sorrow. When joy has come, the purpose of the world will be gone. The world will end in peace because now it is a place of war. The world, when peace comes, what will then be the purpose? The world will end in laughter because it is a place of tears. Where there is laughter, who can no longer weep? And only complete forgiveness brings all this to bless the world. In blessing, it departs, for it will not end as it began. So here's an interesting final line from this particular section. To turn hell into heaven is the function of God's teachers. For what they teach are lessons in which heaven is reflected. And now we can sit in true humility and realize that all God would have you do, you can do. All God would have you do, you can do. You can turn hell into heaven. I one time heard one of my students, who's now a colleague, she's an ordained minister, Chris Strom, she was talking about the concept of raising hell. You know, we think about raising hell as being like making a fuss, making noise, making problems. But she said, think of it as raising hell to a higher place, raising hell to a place where it can be healed, where whatever comes with hell. What's your hell? What's your hell? Anger, judgment, jealousy, reactivity, whatever it is, that's your hell. Raise it to your consciousness for focused healing, to shine your light on it. You know, the Sufis, they chant the name of God over and over again into their hearts and ask for mercy, ask for the dissolution of those ego issues that are causing harm to self or others. And through these practices, we don't shy away, we don't run away, we're not scared of the truth of who we are when we see it in the shadows. We shine a light on it, we pray over it, we offer it, we surrender it, we give it up. We give it up to the Holy Spirit for healing. But you know what? When we look at rituals or anything that we're doing, we're not asking for, or we might ask for this, but it's not going to happen that some disembodied spirit is going to come in and take it away from us. We are heightening our awareness so that we take responsibility for it and we change. We work on the transformation. It's up to us. It's up to us to work on the transformation of our own selves so that we can rise higher, so that we can function from a place of Christ consciousness. And what it says here is that the teachers of God are given it to do because they can, because you can. You're essential. You're an essential worker. That's what you're here to do. So let's find peace together we'll listen to this last song if I can get it to go, and it'll be that beautiful song that Andy.
Hey you, on the couch. When are you gonna check out Tubi? Stream thousands of free movies and shows. No visit from the cable guy. No credit cards, no passwords, or no BS. All you need, all for free.
Okay, does anybody know where there's a mute button on the Fire Stick? That's not the song, but we're gonna listen to this anyway. We're just gonna go with the flow. So some of our technical difficulties earlier had to do with issues beyond my control, more Facebook issues, and then the following issues had to do with me not knowing how to manage my new Fire Stick. So I'm open to tutoring. So let's end with this. In your prayers, request to be given the means by which this world will disappear, and true vision will come with knowledge and grace. For in grace you see light that covers all the world in love, and watch fear disappear from every heart as it rises up to claim the light and to share the light, because you are the light. You can be the light. Thank you for being with me this evening. Thank you for your patience. You are the light of the world. You can rise as high as you choose as you bring Christ consciousness into your way of being. So, God bless you. See you next week.